Beyond the driving test, regulatory road signs. There are numerous warning signs on the roads. They instruct drivers on what they should and shouldn't do in such circumstance by enforcing the traffic laws that apply to the roadway or intersection where they are posted. It is mandatory to follow the directions listed on regulation road signs, otherwise, all local road users would be put in danger and could be subject to a fee or penalty for traffic violations. Drivers are required to always be alert for regulatory signs and adhere to any instructions they may include. You will learn how to recognize and interpret some of the most typical regulatory indicators in this section. Regulatory road signs are typically printed with white backdrop and black lettering to make them simple for drivers to recognize and read. Red is frequently used in regulatory signs that signal a particular conduct is forbidden, such as no parking signs. Some of these signs are only available in red and white printing. Although the majority are square or rectangular, there is no standard design for regulatory signage. Certain significant or common regulatory indicators have unique shapes of their own. This group includes the stop sign. Signs in red and white. Only the signs for stop, yield, do not enter, and wrong way are printed in red and white. Although the interpretations of these regulation signs vary, they all urge that cars slow down and be ready to stop. If you see a red and white sign on the road ahead, you should instantly slow down. Stop sign. Since stop signs are the only red, octagonal traffic signs, they are simple to spot. This style of road signage is unique. Keep in mind that a second tab below the primary sign identifies four-way stop signs. You must be ready to stop your car completely whenever you see a red octagon. When a traffic control device or the environment signals that you have the right of way and it is safe to move forward, you should only start driving again. When approaching a junction or intersection, drivers are advised to slow down and cede the right of way before proceeding. Although it is not required, be aware that it may be essential to stop completely at a yield sign and wait for a suitable opening in the flow of traffic. Triangles with the colors red and white that point downward are used for all yield signs. Similar to stop signs, only yield signs utilize this design, making them simple to identify. Directional sign. A one-way street stop intersection with another road is typically where you'll see one-way signs. Drivers are advised by these signs that traffic on this roadway only flows in one direction. The words one-way are frequently printed on one-way signs, which normally have a white arrow on a thin, horizontal, black rectangle. The arrow's direction denotes the direction that traffic on the one-way street flows. Warnings: not to enter. To stop motorists from turning into a one-way street in the wrong direction, do not enter signs are frequently used alongside one-way signs. They can also be found on roads or driveways where entering from a specific location is prohibited, such as limited access highway entry or exit ramps. Don't go in signs are made of white squares with a large red circle inside a white rectangle. The phrase "do not enter" may or may not be printed on them. Wrong way markers. Along with "do not enter" and one-way signs, you may also see wrong way signs. They are horizontal rectangles of red color. If you see one of these signs at the beginning of a road or ramp, you need to turn back right away because you are driving against the flow of traffic. Prohibition symbols. Red is a common color for signs that are prohibited. Traffic drivers are alerted by prohibition signs when anything is prohibited nearby. For example, they might declare that a particular category of road user is not permitted to use this roadway or lane, i.e. cyclists, pedestrians, heavy vehicles. Indicate that a particular tactic or activity is forbidden, i.e. parking, U-turns, turning right under a red signal. The prohibitory sign will display a black symbol, sometimes accompanied by writing, on a white square background to indicate the movement or vehicle that is prohibited. The black symbol has a red circle and slash printed over it to show that what it stands for is forbidden. Consider the red circle and slash as an additional no sign. No parking or no U-turns, for instance. Signs directing traffic. Drivers are directed in which direction to take their vehicles along the roadway by black and white arrow signs. Traffic direction signs that read "keep right" instruct motorists to go to or stay in the right lane when they are placed in front of an impediment. This sign could be present before a traffic island, a highway divider, or a spot where the left lane is being used for work. Lane usage indicators. These traffic control signs are typically found on highways or in urban areas, over roads with numerous lanes. They inform drivers as to who may or may not use particular lanes. It is common for lane use signs to specify restrictions based on the direction of travel or whether or not vehicles intend to exit or stay on the route. Any vehicle in the left lane is required to make a left turn at the following intersection, according to the sign shown above. If you want to turn right or cross the intersection directly, you should merge out of this lane as soon as you can. Other lane kinds that might be identified with lane use indicators are: one that is about to come to an end, lanes in which passing is not permitted, center lanes for left turns, speed limit signs. Black and white ink is typically used to produce rectangular speed limit signs. The speed limit for the section of road after the sign is clearly shown by the number in the center of the sign. The speed limit set by the prior sign is no longer applicable if the route widens, passes through a built-up region, or a new speed limit sign is posted. The speed indicated on the speed limit sign often represents the top speed at which cars may move along that particular road. A minimum speed limit sign may also be put if traveling too slowly might raise the risk on that section of road. On limited access highways and other high-speed roads, you could see signs indicating the minimum speed restriction. Parking signs may state whether, when, and where it is appropriate to park at a specific location. They frequently delineate certain areas or lengths of the walkway. The signs themselves are typically smaller than other regulatory signs because drivers do not need to understand the meaning of a parking sign when driving past at high speeds. However, they frequently include fairly thorough information. For instance, a lot of parking signs list the days of the week or the hours that parking is not permitted in that neighborhood. In this instance, the parking sign's days or times are probably printed in red. In some places, parking spaces where parking is allowed for a short period of time only are identified by signs with green text, i.e. 1 hour. Parking spaces that are only for those with disability permits are typically identified by blue parking signs, which are frequently complemented by pavement markings. Some warning signs are only intended for use by pedestrians. They're used to indicate to pedestrians where they may or may not cross a roadway, and they often have a picture of a guy walking on them. There are no pedestrians allowed on this section of road, indicated by a square white sign with a black pedestrian emblem and a red circle and slash, typically because there is no sidewalk present. Freeways, bridges, and highways near toll booths are examples of such roadways. Crossbuck signs. The crossbuck sign is composed of two diagonal rectangles that overlap to form a cross and bear the words railroad crossing. These recognizable signs are placed where a road crosses railroad lines to alert vehicles that they must stop and scan the area for approaching trains. Recognizing regulatory signals. All road users can easily understand black and white regulation signs, whether they utilize text or a symbol. Even if you have never seen a specific sign before, using the guidelines we have provided in this video, you should be able to determine what it indicates. All motorists must keep in mind that the advice given here is generally valid all across the United States. In your state, some of the regulatory signs we mentioned might look different. Do not be concerned, these variations are typically negligible and shouldn't interfere with your ability to interpret any signs you come across. To ensure you are fully familiar with the legal road signs that appear in your state, study the Signs and Signals section of your driving manual.